Considered by some to be the quintessential Canadian food, poutine's history is more interesting than you may think. First, let's get this out of the way. Poutine is not cheesy fries, nor, as South Park claimed, is it McDonald's French fries and KFC gravy. It's true, classic poutine begins with potatoes, skin on or off, and usually cut like French fries. Ideally, the raw cut potatoes would be soaked in water for 4 hours to draw out the starch. Then they're fried to a golden brown, again, much like French fries. The gravy, usually beef gravy, needs to be heated at the same time. Once the potatoes are done, they're sprinkled with salt. Now again, this sounds like plain old fries and gravy. The big difference is the next ingredient, cheese curd. That is essential. While some restaurants may use mozzarella or white cheddar, this is an abomination and possibly a violation of the Geneva Convention. For the uninitiated, cheese curd is a byproduct of cheese making, the solid leftovers. The liquid leftover is called whey. Yes, that's what Little Miss Muffet was all about. Anyway, get it? The cheese curd needs to be added to the hot fries, mixed, and then the hot gravy is poured on top. The order is essential to properly melt the curd into a stringy, gooey mess of pure deliciousness. Eat it while it's warm, and if you need to reheat it later, use an oven, not the microwave. This is not exactly healthy food. Using wacky Canadian measurements, aka metric, the most used measurement system in the world, a 254-gram poutine serving has 870 calories. That's 9 ounces for Americans, Liberians, and the people of Myanmar. Okay, so where did poutine come from? While some people joke the dish was invented by the French army at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham in 1759, the truth is poutine was unheard of 75 years ago. It first appeared in Quebec, where the vast majority of Canada's French-speaking population lives. So who invented it? Well, it's not that simple. You see, 2 people laid claim to the invention. The first was Fernand Lachance, who ran Café Ideal in Warwick, Quebec. He says a regular customer, Eddie Lainesse, first ordered curd and fries together. Lachance was reported to have replied, "Ça va te faire une maudite poutine." That translates to, "That will make a damn mess." Poutine is slang for mess in Quebec. There are many other theories where the name came from, but this is the most common. Lachance served the combination in a paper bag, and customers added ketchup or vinegar. Later in 1963, he started serving the meal on dishes rather than bags, as the bags didn't contain the mess well and meant a lot of work for his table cleaners. The problem there was, the fries grew cold too quickly, so he started adding hot gravy to keep them warm longer. However, in Drummondville, Jean-Paul Roy ran a drive-through restaurant where he served fries in a special sauce he called patate sauce. He also sold cheese curd as a snack on their own. He noticed some customers added the curds to the fries and decided to add it to the menu in 1964. Rather than using bags, Roy had to travel to Toronto, Canada's largest city, to find a vendor carrying containers capable of standing up to the cheese and sauce. It's possible that both men came up with the idea on their own. Cheese curd was common in the region due to cheese manufacturing being a major industry at the time. Great minds, after all, do think alike. From there, poutine slowly spread across the region. By 1987, the food was so popular, fast food chain Burger King added it to its menu. McDonald's followed suit in 1990. Canadian hamburger chain Harvey's was surprisingly late to the party, waiting until 1992 to begin serving it. Nowadays, most chains offer poutine as a replacement for fries at a higher price or as a meal all on its own. At the same time, varieties began to spring up. Some added meats, vegetables, and, as time went on, stranger and stranger types emerged. Whistle Stop Cafe in Peterborough, Ontario currently boasts over 100 varieties. They include curry bites, mac and cheese, and holiday dinner. The last one has turkey, dressing, and cranberry sauce. There's one more famous story about poutine. This Hour Has 22 Minutes is a Canadian TV news show parody, now in its 30th season. In 2000, 22 Minutes correspondent Rick Mercer attended a press conference by George W. Bush. At the time, Bush was still governor of Texas and was campaigning for the presidency for the first time. Mercer was able to ask a question and asked Bush for his reaction to being endorsed by Canadian Prime Minister Jean Poutine. The real PM was named Jean Crétin. The problem, for Bush, not the comedian, was he literally did not realize it was a joke or that the name was wrong. Bush thanked and praised Prime Minister Poutine quite graciously. He also went on to talk about free trade and stronger ties to Canada. Needless to say, this was a big hit in Canada, and Bush took some well-deserved mockery over the mistake. Years later, after Jean Chrétien had retired and been replaced by Paul Martin, Bush visited Canada. Showing humility and a sense of humor, Bush expressed his regrets that he'd never been able to meet Jean Poutine. As we mentioned, poutine is not exactly healthy. In addition to high calorie content, it's high in fat. In 2003, a group of Toronto parents began demanding poutine be removed from school cafeterias. In Toronto, they were successful and the dish was banned and replaced with healthier options. In the same year, the youth wing of Quebec's provincial Liberal Party also moved to have the food banned from cafeterias. Then Premier Jean Charest, yep, another Jean, dismissed the proposal. As Charest jokingly told reporters, there are limits to righteousness.